school method. I know, Brian, I'm sure you can attest to this, but we used to have three ring binders. Just to give you guys an idea of how we used to run things, we had two three-ring binders, and they had dividers, and we would pretty much place, January, February, March, and we would have to staple the business card to that, and then put it in that month for when we wanted to come back to that business. So we had two big binders that we would have to run and operate with, and if we lost a page, oh my goodness, that was thousands of dollars out the window, or coffee spills on it. It completely would ruin our month. But anyway, now we've got this beautiful CRM. It gives us an ability to be able to organize our efforts, right? Because here's the thing. For those of you that don't know, page number 25 in the training guide that we provide for you gives you a good understanding of what it means to properly plan for your success in prospecting, right? We talk about walking into 100 businesses each and every week, right? From those 100, you're going to generate follow-up leads, warm leads, hot leads, scheduled follow-up leads, and very important appointments that you're going to set. And the CRM allows you to keep track of all of that. And so if you need a refresher, be sure to be looking at that page. It gives you a good understanding of how all of it starts to give you that compounding result week over week. And so the other part of that page, it talks about how when looking at your next week, you want to take a look at how many hot leads, warm leads, scheduled follow-ups that you have, or presentations not closed that you have available, and subtract the total number of leads that you have from 100. And that's how many you need to qualify for in that next Monday to give you that solid ratio. You want about 50% of your stops to be new, and you want 50% of your follow-ups to be coming from those layers. And that's what's going to help you stay calculated and sharp on how you're building your week. I can't tell you enough, team. You can be expediting and helping yourself get to the next close by just spending time in looking through your leads and cleaning them up. If I go into some of you's CRM and I look at your hot lead layer, and I go in and I find, I look at the journal, this was a hot lead that we forgot to go to in June, right? And that's where the money starts to slip. That's where the relationships start to slip, right? That's where the agent from another company or another agency throughout they go in and they close it because we don't have a cadence on how we should be living in this. So typically, guys, just as a reminder, before I start to go into this exercise and show you how to navigate the epic, we're going to be talking about the utilization of the layers to help you find your next close. How do I go into the leads or into the layers to help me identify where my next close is coming from? So that's what we're going to be talking about today, and you guys are going to really love it. But just be sure to be writing notes down, right? Whatever you need clarity on. If it's a question, if it's a concern, if it's a comment, whatever you need, just write it down, get with us, and we'll make sure to clear things up with you. But there should be no reason why we don't understand how to do this, okay? Now, this is being recorded. It's going to be put on our YouTube channel as well. So if you want to make sure you get another look at what we're training on, you can also have access to that. So YouTube, look up the Cannington. Is it the Cannington Agency training, or what's the list? Just the Cannington Agency. They can open it up. Okay. So you heard it from Brian himself. So get in there whenever you get a chance and study and review it. All right. Now, a quick recap. Where are we at so far? So we've been talking about closing cases these last several weeks. I know before we've been working on our objection handling. I don't want to lose sight of what we've been talking about. So we made a couple of stars by the objections that we've needed to work on. And this is the one, these are post-presentation objections. We have 5 of those. From those 5, which one did you put a star next to? Have you recorded yourself yet? Have you role played it throughout the last several days to continue to grow yourself in that area? Because all of this that we're going to be talking about supplements the closed cases. It's not just, hey, I need to be the best person at handling objections. It's everything working combined. So not only do we need to know our presentation, right? What tier are we at with the presentation? Are we a tier 1 presenter, tier 2 presenter, tier 3, right? Do we know where we land? What about our objections? All of these things are great, but you have to make sure that you're sharpening up on all of it. All right. So how do you do that? Number 1, you got to have a focus. So over the last several weeks, we've done a lot of great trainings. Have you ever written down in your notes section or somewhere in your planner what you're going to focus on for the next 4 weeks as a professional? I would challenge you to do that today. Based on the last several trainings, write down, if it's objections, write that down. Are you going to focus? Is that the area of opportunity that can take your business from 50,000 a year to 120,000? Is it right now? We talked about your presentation skill set. Do you want to work on your presentation for the next 3 to 4 weeks? Dial in, focus, right? There's 2 things that people are challenged by. And number 1 is time management. Number one is time management. Number two is focus management, right? Too many people try to do the time managing part, but they never really drive their focus to a particular part in their business or in their life. So, what I want to challenge you today is get that focus first, and then you get the time managed later. That's what we start to dial in on. Now that I know what to focus on, I'm going to look at my schedule and I'm going to make sure I'm making the time to master this focus. And then from there, creating a timeline. Because we haven't really talked about this a whole lot on these calls, but I knew this was going to be something to take us to the next level. Because man, oh man, do we train? We train well, we train strongly. But the thing that hurts us the most is how do we structure out the rollout of the training that we're doing. So I wanted to give you guys that direction and guidance on how do we grab these trainings and drive the practice in these areas to get the results. So remember, what are you focused on? Write that down. Is it objections? Is it presentation? Is it your 30-second commercial? Is it the different tonalities that you need to get better at? Maybe you have your script so down, but your tonality just isn't, your range isn't where you want it to be. So really getting a focus around that, guys, can really take your game to the next level. All right. So with all that being said, let me go ahead and share my screen, and then we're going to get right into it. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Let's go. Come on. Boom, baby. Yeah. Okay. Safari. Where you at? There it is right there. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do, guys, when I'm looking at, oh my goodness, I should have pressed allow. It's okay. So the first thing I'm going to do for this exercise is you're going to need your 4-week forecast when using this particular exercise. Your 4-week forecast is what's pretty much going to help you start to map out the month of August. The beautiful part is we're in the first full week. Actually, we're in the first full week of August. So what better time to get the next 4 weeks planned than today, right? So while we're going through this exercise, I'm using my 4-week forecast. And what I'm doing is I'm getting a good understanding of what do I have coming up, right? What enrollments do I have? What areas are those enrollments in? Okay. Why do I want to know that? Because when I go through these layers, I'm going to look for specific leads in my layers that are going to help supplement my results for that day. So even if I'm working in enrollment, you can actually add some of these hot lead, warm leads, scheduled follow-ups to your route. And I'm going to start again. So enrollments and re-enrollments typically give me a strong foundation of where my next 4 weeks need to go, right? Those are your big rocks. From there, what starts to determine my 4-week forecast is my presentations not closed layer, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. But just make a note of this. The first thing that determines your 4-week forecast is your enrollments and re-enrollments. What have I been assigned? What have I scheduled? And that's going to give you a solid way of then making sure you're not missing out or double booking yourself later. So now that I know where my enrollments are, next I'm going to figure out, okay, based on Epic, where should I be applying my time over the next 4 weeks? And that's where we start to look in here, right? So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and start out by going into the worksite folder. Once I get into the worksite folder, the first thing I told you to look at is, of course, well, appointments, right? What appointments do I have? Clearly, that's going to be a common one, but that's normally going to go in my 10 blocks of time. So right now, it looks like there's no appointments for this particular account here, but I'm going to then move into my presentations not closed layer, make sure that I'm prioritizing the presentations that I've given in the past. Because here's the deal. I'm going to show you guys something. Okay. So right now, there's 37 presentations that I've presented to that I've got to make sure that I'm dialing in on. Okay. So that's 37. But if I go to my qualified lead layer, let me show you how crazy this gets. Okay. Imagine if you did not have proper, like if you're not managing your Salesforce or your Epic the right way and updating your layers, there's 691 total qualified leads. In that alone, I've got 560 of those that I've been into. So if I'm going to look at businesses that I need to prioritize, what would you say is simpler to manage? 37 presentations that I've got history with, or 560 businesses that I've stopped into, right? So that's how I'm trying to give you guys an understanding of how beneficial it is to utilize the layers in Epic. There's 37 that I can go individually and take a look at the notes and make thousands of dollars potentially out of these opportunities because somewhere in the process, I got to present. And that's a big deal. But the pink or the magenta leads, I don't know if I've presented to them. I know I've been into them, but I don't know if I've presented them or not. So that's where the layers are powerful. They slim everything down. They manage my focus. They help me manage my focus on where do the next 4 weeks need to look. Now, here's what I do. I'm going to hide all of my qualified leads, but then I'm going to zoom into here into my map, and I'm just going to take a look at the areas. Where do I have a lot of traffic, right? Where have I been? I mean, look, we got some Port St. Lucie, we got some Okeechobee, but a lot of great traffic here in the Orlando area. So if I've got a lot of things going on in Orlando, okay, I can then make sure that Orlando is on my route or in the next. I'm going to go to Orlando in the next 4 weeks, hands down, right? So how do I determine which places in Orlando I start getting into here? So what you can do is down below when you've selected your presentations not closed layer, I can scroll down to the list view. Okay. All right. Now, again, I know Daniel doesn't have anything to hide, so the guy, he's giving me the privilege and I'm sorry, the permission to go into his account. So I've got this one right here. So I'm going to go ahead. What I do is I go into here and I go into I click the three dots. Okay. What I do is I go in, I click the three dots, or what I can do is hold on a sec. Yeah. So I go in here, I click View Journal. And then real quick, just from the list view, I don't have to click any other tabs. It's literally right there. And then I start reading through the presentation. This was a business that looks like we've been into back in January, but we haven't been there in a while, right? Other than actually, we were back here in February. This is a place we presented to. We then figure out, okay, is this place, since I haven't been to in a while, what's the status? Do I need to go back based on the notes, right? Right. Looks like we spoke to let's see, spoke to the owner. She mentioned that if she was going to go to New York on vacation, she mentioned that she was in a meeting every other day. All right. Let's see. And then of course there's a lot of great things here. But again, now this is one. I take a look at where this one is. The next one I'm going through is I'm taking a look. Boom, right? 2 clicks. I scroll down, click the three dots, click view journal, and my notes are up. Again, 37 times. It took us 30 seconds to take a look at that one lead. Okay. Now this one. So now let's go, right? I'm just giving you guys this understanding of how quickly it is to go through these presentations and identify where we can find the next opportunity, right? This one right here. This one says, spoke to Alicia and she said she was in a meeting and they weren't going to move forward with benefits until they hired an HR admin again. Alicia was the gatekeeper who was also a Globe Life policy from her other job. So think about it this way. This is a business, right? Oh, it looks like we went back in on the 23rd, spoke to Alicia, went in, presented to her. She mentioned that they've seen us go back a few times, but they have a strong resting relationship with Boston Mutual. We did find where we can help them with our Group 65, and she requested that we send her an email so that she could run it by Mark Thomas. Alicia mentioned that she has 2 kids in sports and so forth. So great notes, by the way. Shout out to Daniel here. He's really descriptive in his details. But the thing is look, she told us that, I mean, clearly there's a need in the group term 65. So something else I want to share with you guys on the call is the 5-step follow-up. If you haven't learned of it, it's actually in your training guide. You can actually get this from it, but I want to give you the 5 steps here. And this one right here is, the first step to the 5-step follow-up is rapport, right? So when you go into a follow-up, right, especially the ones you've presented to in the past, you always want to build rapport. And then the second step is you have to reestablish the value, right? Or you just go in and say, hey, Jenny, I wanted to come back in and follow up with you. That's a very basic and generic approach. You're not going to get anywhere with that. The third step is address the previous objection, right? Isolate and crush the previous objection. So step 1, you have to build rapport. Step 2, reestablish the value. Was it a presentation you gave? In this case, it was. Step 3, now you're going to get into the previous objection. What was the objection? Clearly, they have a lasting relationship with their current carrier, right? But she did ask for more information so that she can, of course, take it to the next steps, right? Then, of course, once you handle the previous objection, you want to make sure you do step number 4, which is tie down. So step 1, build rapport. Step 2, reestablish the value. Step 3, make sure that you are handling the previous objection they gave you. Step 4, tie it down. Is now a good time? May we step into your office? And then step 5, you handle the real objection. Okay? Because in most cases, when we were in there, the objection they gave us originally was because we probably caught them at a bad time, right? So they're going to give us everything and anything under the book to try to get us to come back another time. But just remember, so why am I doing this? Number one, here's what's going to happen. I only have 37 businesses to go through that I presented to in the past. That's pretty valuable. Okay. So instead of looking through 590 businesses to try to find my next close, I want to look through 37 that I've already presented to in the first place. Then what I'm going to do as I'm going through these and identifying key opportunities, I can add them to my route or my 4-week forecast and start to think about how I'm going to approach this business based on the 5-step follow-up. Hey, good morning, Alicia. It's good to see you once again. What have you been up to? Hey, that's great to hear. I know the weather's been nice so far. Get a little rain here and there, but listen, I wanted to come back in and reconnect with you because I know the last time we had the opportunity to talk, we went over our products. We saw that there would be a gap in of course, the life insurance, something that would be permanent and affordable after retirement. However, you did mention you did have a standing relationship with your current provider, which is Boston, I believe. The good news is, as for getting some thought, Jenny, our goal isn't to replace Boston Mutual. Our goal is to rather show you a way that we can enhance your current benefit package with some much needed benefits that your employees can ultimately afford to keep after they retire. Now, another thing I would do here, team, is while I'm going through this, you can actually open up the business or the lead, okay? And I could actually take a look and review the benefits fact sheet. So while I'm going through this, something else that I'm doing is I'm looking at the benefits fact sheet. Was the life insurance they're getting provided by Boston Mutual portable? Did it terminate? Did it reduce? Did it convert? What was going on? So that while I'm going through these opportunities, I can go a step further, take a look at the benefits fact sheet, and now I go to my leadership team and I'm saying, hey, I've just added these to my 4-week forecast, or hey, I've just added these to my routes this week. Can you give me some insight on how or what your thoughts are on my approach when I follow up with them, right? Because guys, these are presentations. I don't know if you know this or not, but the trained eye knows that when there's history, there's more opportunity, right? There's rapport first and foremost. There's familiarity. That's another big one, right? So if they know that there's a history, there's familiarity. There's just more substance there for you to go in and try to provide new information, right? So once I go in and then I let her know that, of course, our goal isn't to, she's going to then say, it only takes a few minutes to show you how we can be best of service to you. Is now a good time? Guess what she's going to say? Probably, well, right now is not a good time. Or, you know what? We've tried doing that in the past, right? So these are things that I could, of course, handle it. It wasn't that they didn't want to, originally, they didn't want to replace Boston Mutual, but maybe she didn't hear us mention that we're not there to replace anything on the first time. Normally, guys, when we talk to business owners or decision makers, the first time they hear something, they're not going to grasp it all at the same time, right? So coming back in and following up effectively with the 5-step follow-up, you're going to get a better understanding of what the real objection is by going in a second and third time. It wasn't that they didn't want to replace you. Now that they remember that you're not looking to replace, what is it? Well, we've tried this before, right? And then we go into the script and handle that real objection in that next visit. But again, guys, this is the whole purpose of this training. Is I wanted you guys to take a good look at how I'm going through it, is going through this particular process. But again, super simple. So you're probably wondering, okay, Bruce, when do you look at these? When do you sit down and take the time to just review some of these thoughts? Well, number one, I love to go over it on Friday evenings. I try to cram everything I can during the work week. And then what I do if I don't have time on a Friday because I'm coming back late from an enrollment, or maybe I was driving a little ways away, I do it Saturday morning. I'm drinking my coffee before my day really starts. I'm taking ownership of what I'm trying to build. So I need to know what my next week and my next week is going to look like. So these things that we're talking about, it's not something that you just want to, hey, yeah, let me kind of see through this. It's because here's what's going to happen. When you do this and you go to this stop, use the 5-step follow-up, get the process, get the sales process to move forward because you stayed on top of it, you're going to be made a believer. You're going to see that this actually works because you closed the business that you presented to a month ago or 2 months ago. And you're like, man, I should have been doing this sooner. I should have been going back to businesses that told me to come back, but I just forgot. All right. So presentation is not closed. Super, super important. Make sure you're looking through those. Another thing I'm going in here, I'm looking at just one more time, guys, view the journal, right? Looks like this particular individual walked in back, stopped in, met with Maria. She mentioned that she would touch base with the owner and call me. Where are we at with this process, right? We presented to this place at some point. Now, again, 6/4, this is June 4th, walked in, spoke to Maria, says that the owners were interested in moving forward, but would like to meet with me. However, I would need to call and set a time with them to sign paperwork. This was back in June. We're in July, or actually, we're in August, right? So again, great opportunity here. Boom. Now I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to go back into this opportunity and utilize the 5-step follow up to try to get Maria and the owners to sit down with me so that I can, of course, move the needle forward in this process. So that is what it looks like on the presentations not closed. So again, 37 opportunities. Now that I've gone through my presentations not closed, I'm going to go ahead and hide these. Now you can clear them up if you'd like. And normally, if you want to clear layers, guys, remember here, this is called your layers. Okay. Your mapped layers. These are layers. So if you want to clear up, you can go here and then you can click the X to remove the layer. Okay. So now that I've got that layer, I've added them all to my route. Next up, I'm going to look for is my hot and warm follow-ups. Okay. So what I'm doing here is now, okay, now think about it this way, right? So my presentation's not closed. I had 37 of them. Now I've got 81 in my hot and warm layer. Okay. Those 590 turned to 37. And then I've got another bundle that I've got to look through that it's 81. Okay. Now, a way that you can do that, guys, if you don't know this, you can actually go to the search bar here and you could type in hot. Okay. And by typing in hot, this just gives me an idea of where I'm at. So I can go in here, I can hide all of these. This is what it's going to look like to you guys, by the way. When you pull up all your hot and warm lead layers, it's going to give you all the specific months that you had. These are your warm layers. Okay. Your warm leads. And then, of course, you've got your hot. So you can hide all of them. And right now I've got 10 hot leads right here that I can look through. So again, it goes from 37 leads, so 590, right? If it takes you about a minute or two to look through each one of those, imagine what's 590 times two, right? It's a pretty big number. So I'm just giving you guys, that's 1,180 minutes that you're spending trying to find your next opportunity. But right now, I can spend 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes at the most, looking through these hot leads and finding out what we can do. Where am I going to get my next close? So the first one is the presentations. What presentations do I need to go back to because I've given them the information? Okay. And then of course, now I'm going into my hot lead layer. So then of course I go back. So what I did is I hid all of them. Okay. And then I just selected the ones that I wanted to sift through, which is my hot leads. And then I scroll down to the bottom and then I do the same thing that I did with my presentations not closed. I went in here, I click view journal, and then look at all this, right? So here's the thing though, right? Just an area of opportunity. And I'm sure Daniel respects this, but I noticed here we had an appointment 128. Walked in the door, Hector at the desk. He said Alex left around 10. So what is the status on this particular lead? Last time we were here was 128, right? Or here's the thing, guys. If it's not a hot lead any longer, let's take it out of there. Because here's what I don't want. I don't want you guys to be having 380 hot leads because, man, that makes it tough. You want to be going in. If it's no longer a hot lead, every Saturday morning when you're going through these, just go in and update the status on them. Update the status. So if you're wondering how you do that, right, you go in here, you click the actual lead. It'll open up the lead. You go to details, and then you go down here to follow up status. And then you put, of course, double click on it. You click the drop down, you give it to none. Or let's say you went to the hot follow up and they're like, you know what, Dale, we love you. However, we decided to not review this or pursue this until the month of August or December. So then I would go in here and then I would update it in this section. So Saturday, Friday afternoons. Again, guys, it goes back to the focus management. Our focus is to live in the CRM and manage it. Okay, so now that we know we need to focus on this, where do I, as a business owner, manage my time to manage this part of the process? So that is what that looks like. So going back to this, guys, I'm going to go in and I'm going to find my next close. The next thing you can do real quick, guys, is we're in the month of August right now. So I'm going to click August. Okay. And then we start going into the, hold on a second. Oh, hold on. Let's see here. Why is it not? Technical difficulties here. Then I'm going to go search. I'm going to go August. Okay, so here are the ones. I'm going to go in here real quick. Boom. And I'm just going to make sure here. So these are two stops that because I put these on my route or in my layers, I'm going to make sure that I at least review the notes on this. I have to go into these. This is a warm lead, right? If you guys remember the definition of a warm lead, it's a business that was that you were given a specific month to go back in and reconnect with them. Okay. So now that I've gone through these for the month of August, let's take a look at maybe, and what I do as well is I take a look at the month of July. So all I'm doing, guys, here is if you notice, I'm putting it in the search bar. So once I've slimmed it down, I could actually just type in the name of July or the month of July, and then hey, I just go in. Did I go back into these, right? So real quick, view records. I'm sorry, view journal. Okay, looks like we were supposed to go in July, but let's see, maybe I missed something here. But yes, this one's one that we had logged in as a warm lead for July, but it looks like we didn't go back in for the month. So again, little things like this. But here's what I do want to say. We've got hot leads and we have warm leads. So shout out to you, Dale. Way to log and make sure that you're putting leads in these layers because I've worked with people that I'm like, how do I help this person? How do I help them close a case? How do I help them get to the next level? And they don't have anything in these layers. And it's challenging as a leader, right? But if as a leader that I'm leading a whole team, I can go into these. Let's say they had a couple of weeks back to back where there wasn't a closed case. As a leader, what I want to do is I want to get into my Epic, and then I want to be able to look up what does their pipeline look like? Hey, you've got a couple of opportunities you forgot to go into. That's the kind of stuff that helps grow the agency tremendously is whenever you as an agent are taking ownership of the way that you're doing the activity and logging it in Epic. And then we as leadership are also our responsibilities to make sure that we're also reviewing your pipeline, right? Typically, what I would recommend for the leaders on the call is I would have bi-weekly pipeline reviews with your teams. Okay. Bi-weekly pipeline reviews. And that's every 2 weeks. I'm sitting down with my GA as an AD. I'm sitting down with my GA. I'm like, hey, here's what I found. Kind of walk me through what you're seeing in your CRM. I mean, what does your team have? How many hot leads do they have right now? How many warm leads do they have coming up in the month of August? What are we looking at for the month? And now you all working together, it shows proactiveness. All right. So now that we've shown you how to go through your hot and warm lead layer, next thing we want to do is clear the layer. Right. So I'm done with this one, or you can hide it, whatever you like. Next thing I'm going to do is, of course, you've got your referral leads, right? These are referrals that, again, I want to make sure that I'm keeping track of, right? There's 46 total referrals. So great job, Daniel. You've really been building up your referral game. These are referrals that we might have forgotten to get back into, right? Did we get back in there? And are we adding those to the stop? And again, 46 stops, guys, doesn't take long to review. Okay. 46 minutes to make thousands of dollars in the coming weeks. You can't tell me that's not a great way of investing your time. So the first layer we looked at, presentations not closed, there was 37. Second layer we looked at was a hot warm lead layer, there was 81. But once we really started to look at just the months and the next 2 weeks, there was really only, I would say 15, maybe 20. So we've got 37, 20. We're looking at about an hour's worth of time, maybe a little longer, 2 at the most. Now we're getting into the referral lead layer. So now I'm going to spend another few minutes, actually maybe another hour, looking through these referral leads to find my next opportunity. And all you have to do is come in here, go down to the list view, view the journal, and read. Be intentional. Is that to some people, it's like, man, I just don't, I can't find the time, or hey, everything that you did yesterday that got done, it got done because it was important to you. So what I'm covering with you today, I expect the same thing. If it's important to you, if it's important to you to get to close, because you got to meet these goals and get to the next level, and you want to promote, because your goal is to lead a team and grow and develop, then this has got to be one of those things that you work towards you got to work on it today. Make it this week. This week's got to be the focus. So all in all, guys, right now I'm looking at 3 hours so far, just looking through the presentations not closed, hot warm lead layer. You do that, all you have to do, you do that maybe twice a month, right? Every 2 weeks, you look at your pipeline, you figure out, okay, where am I going to go next? Update your 4-week forecast. Get your 4-week forecast for the month already dialed in. You don't have to be then at that point, you're not going to have to worry about, okay, where am I going after this week? Where do I go? Well, based on my 4-week forecast, I had originally planned on going here, here, and here, but I scheduled some enrollments. So let's make some changes to this day. But what's happening right now is we've got some people that are waiting till the end of the week or sometimes even Monday to come in and look at their 10 blocks and figure out where they're coming up for the week. And that is what slows you down. What you have to do is, like I said, get your 4 week forecast out, spend the time, invest the time looking at these layers to map out the next 4 weeks. Now, when you do that, watch how the numbers change. Okay. So ask yourself, am I currently waiting till Monday or waiting till Sunday night to figure out where I'm going for the week? Or at the beginning of every month, do I spend a couple of hours pre-planning based on my CRM, based on this is factual information. I'm not feeling my way through the business. I am factually looking at what's in my CRM, what I've logged with discipline, and I'm making sure that I'm capitalizing it over the next 30 days. Because here's the reality. What we do in 30 days is what we reap over the next 90. Okay. This is one of those things that I told you, like if you had your writing stuff, make sure you write that down. What you do in 30 days is what you reap over the next 90. And if you're delaying the plan and you're just planning week over week, that's probably why you're getting week over week results. We didn't plan for the month. So my ask, our ask is when we're going through this training, guys, let's work on it. If you're going through the layers now and you're like, man, I don't have any hot leads, then ask yourself, do I know how to log it? If not, get with your team immediately. Don't suffer in silence. Don't wait till we're having to find click. If we go into your CRM and we find no hot lead layer and there's nothing in those layers, and we can only help what we know. So please implement this. If you don't have anything in those layers, it's because we're logging something. We may be missing something. Get with your leadership team, though. It's a simple couple clicks. You can't miss it. Okay. So there was 37 layers in the presentations not closed. There were 81 in the hot and warm lead. There's 46 in the referral leads. Now, the next thing I'm going to look at is work site scheduled follow-ups, right? This is big, right? So right now I've got 2. Now, just something to keep in mind, my scheduled follow-ups, this particular layer will only show what's coming up in the next 7 days. So whatever scheduled follow-ups you had created in the past that are scheduled to be ran, it's going to only show what's going to happen between now and Sunday. Okay. So this is one that you want to make sure that you're reviewing every single week and staying on top of. The other thing I want to show you guys is, of course, enrollments, right? Some of you guys, you can add your enrollments. This is where you do it over here to the far left. You see, I'm going to zoom in real quick. You've actually got a worksite enrollment folder. You can go in, add the enrollment from, I mean, shoot, you can go 3 months out. How about that, right? Epic knows, hey, planning an enrollment, getting an enrollment set up or re-enrollment, sometimes it takes reaching out to who do I need to reach out? We're 90 days away from the open enrollment period. Who do I need to reach out to? Who do I need to send an email to? Who do I need to call? Letting them know, hey, we're 90 days within your enrollment period. Just want to let you know what to expect. Here's what we need. 30 days away from it. You stop in person. You get everything. You get the posters dropped off. We get everything rocking and rolling, guys. But again, it's the layers that are going to help you build the month of August for you. Okay. Now, with all that being said, I know Brian, we went 4 minutes over time, but I'm curious to know what questions we could have out there. I know this was something that the team needed, but what questions do we have? I know, if you don't mind, I know we got maybe give it 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely want to answer any questions they have while we're all together.
What questions do we have, team? Because some of you may have a question that some others are wanting to ask, but what do we got? Alice,
So,
go ahead.
hey, so the layers on Salesforce, thank you for sharing that information. How would you fit in the tasks? That there's a task button on our app, Sales Genie app, Salesforce app. How would you apply the tasks into your 4 week forecast?
So you can utilize it. I mean, that's a great question. That's something that we can train on. I think normally, right? So let me show you. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Great question. Look at this. Golly, I love that. Thank you for this question. So once we really get to doing a great job of logging everything correctly, here's what's going to happen. Here's a cool feature that some of you may not know is there it is. There it is. MacBooks. Don't buy one. If you're thinking about buying one, don't buy one. Okay, so what I do is when you first open up Epic, take a look at this right here. You have all your tasks right here. Okay, Here are all your open ones. You could set the task. Which ones are the ones that are overdue? Which ones are due today? Which ones are due in the next 7 days? So I'm going to set it to that. And then here we go. We got two, right? So we've got two follow-ups. So the hot lead and the warm lead aren't necessarily tasks. They just have a dispositioning. So the tasks that are going to show up here, this could give you a solid indication of what you got coming up. It even shows you, let's take a look this month. Let's take a look at the month of August. All right. So here are just a couple of tasks that if you're with your planning, I love that you said that, because if you're planning your 4-week forecast and you're like, kind of, okay, what do I need to do? Right now we've got, this particular enrollment that is in their open enrollment period. So we've got to make sure that we're doing all of these particular pieces. We've got a new enrollment that needs to, that we're getting into. We've got a couple of follow-ups here that are in progress. And then of course it gives you some things too, that once the enrollment is complete, okay, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. That way you guys can see, but here's the 1st of August, proper setup, right? So it tells you, hey, here's what you need to do. Here are some follow-ups. Here's an appointment that you have. And then down here is what you need to be doing closer to the end of the month. Meet with the payroll administrator. So for those of you that are really starting to make sure, hey, I want to make sure that the businesses I close, I'm staying on top of my stuff. Like, I don't even know how to balance it all. Hey, if you just went up here, and you selected everything, what do I have going on this month? So by going to your tasks, you just go to this month. That means your next 4 weeks. And then this is going to show you everything that you need to make sure you get done for the month. Now, it doesn't show you your hot and warm layer, because again, it doesn't show you your presentation is not closed, but this is a good place to start. Thank you for that, Ellis.
You're welcome.
What other questions do we have, guys? Come on. Great question. Let's go, baby. 2 more minutes. Give me one good cue. One good question. Okay. I'll close it out by saying this. I said it on Friday, and I'm going to say it again. What you do frequently becomes your frequency. You want closes. You have to do the action frequently that leads to that. If you're not closing, it's because something is missing, or we're doing something and we're not doing it every single week. That's typically how systems work, like business in general. You go to any business seminar, you're gonna hear the same things, just said a little different. It's all systems. So just to recap today, guys, number one, make sure that you know the definitions on page 25. Plan prospecting for success. Get acquainted with those. If you know them already, great work. Go to your trainer, give them a high five, tell them you love them. And then number two, make sure you're logging them correctly. So now that you know, do you know how to log them? Okay, because everything we talked about doesn't work if you don't have the logging correctly. Once you log them correctly, make sure you're going through that exercise like we talked about. Do it every week if you want to, bi-weekly at the minimum, but get those bi-weekly pipeline reviews started. And I would do them on Friday or Saturday, okay? Or do one very big one at the first of the month, right? Before we even start the month, take a look at what you guys get surgical with it. Put the blinders on. How do I get rid of all the distractions, right? That's exactly how. So get those in review. And then from there, start getting with your leadership team and asking them for insight on how you would approach this particular opportunity. And guys, that's how you transform your outcome. Don't just try to go in there and, yeah, I mean, you can get it done by yourself. Don't get me wrong. But if you do need the help, get with us. Don't lean on guesswork. So what you do frequently becomes your frequency. You want to close every week? Do the things necessary every single week that's going to lead you to getting there. Committed walk-ins, sticking to the script, reaching out to your leadership team. 5 after 5, 8 before 8. These little things all comprised of it. So with all that being said, guys, I want to say you guys are great. And we appreciate you very much. Let's have a great rest of our Monday. And let's go out there and light it up, baby. Come on. Whoa.
All right, guys, have a great day.